Hello and welcome to GCSE Physics exam papers. In this video I'm going to talk you through what you can expect from the structure of the exam paper, what the front page looks like, and how to check the information on it. When you see an exam paper, it will look like this. It will have lots of information. It will usually be A4 printed on white paper. You can see the name of the exam board printed here. We can see a box for your personal information, and then information about the exam itself. So the level of the exam, whether it's A-level or GCSE, and the subject. When you're sitting your exam, these are the types of things that you need to double check to make sure that you have been given the correct paper. Very often, there will be multiple exams going on in the same room, and you need to make sure that the invigilator has given you the correct paper. You should check that you are sitting the correct tier. The foundation tier allows you to get grades 1 to 5, and the higher tier allows you to get grades 4 to 9. You can see that there's a large H here, which makes it easier for invigilators to check that they've given out the right paper. In GCSE Physics, there is a Paper 1 and a Paper 2. Here we can see the time for how long the exam will last. Some people with access arrangements will be allowed a longer time, and that will be clearly communicated to them. If you are expecting to receive extra time and this has not been communicated to you, you need to speak to the invigilator. This is a list of materials that you will need for the exam. You will need to bring your own stationery, including a ruler. This can be a 15 centimetre or a 30 centimetre. I recommend bringing both. A scientific calculator. This is battery operated. You need to make sure that the battery is fresh. If it's solar powered, check that it works with the light available in the exam hall. You're also going to be given a physics equations sheet, and that will be included with the paper. You can see what that looks like over here on the right hand side of the page. This is the version for June 2025. It will usually be a double-sided sheet. You should make sure that it is printed clearly and is legible. At the start of the exam, you will be told to read the instructions very carefully. Please do so. You are expected to use black ink because the exam paper is going to be scanned into a computer and marked digitally. We need to make sure that there is enough of a contrast between the colour of the paper and your writing so that this can be read. The reason why pencil is permitted for drawing is so that you can rub it out and have another go. There is a prompt to fill in the boxes at the top of the page. That should be done before the start of the exam. You should fill in the centre number. This is the unique number that identifies the school or college where you're sitting the exam. Your candidate number is the number that uniquely identifies you as a candidate at that centre. It's important to fill out both of these numbers. You should make sure to write your surname and your forenames as they appear on legal documents. No nicknames. You should also sign here, and when you're signing there, you're signing to say that the work is your own. When you begin the exam, you should answer in the spaces provided. That's because those spaces that are clearly labelled are the ones that are going to be scanned in and sent to the markers. If you write outside of these spaces, then the work that you do there will not be included in the marking. This is stressed here, where it says do not write outside the box or on any blank pages. You are encouraged to do rough work, but make sure that if you don't want it to be marked, you put a line through it. At the end of the paper, there are lined pages for you to use if you need any extra space. If you do this, make sure you clearly identify the question number next to your answers. It is good practice to show all of your working when you're doing a calculated answer. Here you're told the maximum number of marks, which is 100, and if you get 100%, that will be the total number of marks that you get here. Notice that this box is for examiner's use only. They will use this to tally up the total. Each question will show the number of marks available, and you should tailor your answer accordingly. Make use of the calculator that you've brought with you, and I encourage you to double check all calculations. Check that you've typed it in correctly, and check that you are reading the answer correctly and transferring that into the exam paper. You should try your best to use good English and clear handwriting as much as possible. Examiners really struggle with handwriting. The markers do use phonetic spelling, so as long as the word that you have written sounds correct when it's said out loud, you will still get the marks. Here we can see the typical structure of an exam question, and it says here, do not write outside of the box. The box they are referring to is this outer boundary here that goes around the whole question. Anything that you write within the box will be scanned and passed on to examiners. Here we can see a typical question and answer space. The question code is given very clearly here so that the computers can read it when it's scanned in. For you, we can see the number of marks, and you can see that there are command words in the question. You are given space to do calculations or write explanations, and here we have a prompt for your final answer. Try to always write the answer for that question in the space provided, because what will happen is that when the paper is scanned in, it will be split into separate sections, and each separate question will be sent to a different examiner. So if you have written 1.2 in this space here, the 1.2 marker will not be able to see your answer because your answer will have been passed to the marker marking question 1.1. Occasionally, you will come across blank pages. These pages will not be scanned and you should not write on them. The reason why these blank pages are included is to do with careful formatting of the paper. For example, that blank page is here so that students answering question 3.2 can use the diagram figure 3 while they are answering their question, whereas otherwise it would have been on the previous page. All of the tables and the pictures in an exam paper are named. For example, this diagram here is named figure 6 and it's referred to in the question. You can also do that in your answer. When you reach the end of the exam paper, you will see this, end of questions, and you should look out for that to make sure that you have seen all of the questions. A lot of students turn over 2 pages at once, or they don't get to the end and don't realise. You can also check the page numbers at the top to make sure that you have completed every page. At the back of the exam paper will be the additional sheets. If you need extra space, you should identify the question that you are answering and then write your answer, like so. At the end of the exam, double check that you have entered the centre number correctly, along with your candidate number. You've entered your surname in the top box and all of your forenames in the second box. Check that you have signed as well.